Okay, this is going to be part one because group two's material is a bit longer than other groups. So this is going to be part one for this group. All right, so this group's topic, and this is episode 8, which is boom. And this is group 2, and their topic is cars, Henry Ford. And this is part 1 that we're doing now. And this is the introduction by Barbara. Good afternoon. We are group number 2, and we are going to present our project about Henry Ford cars. My name is Barbara, and I will be doing the introduction. We are going to talk about one of the most remarkable processes that Henry Ford implemented for building cars. We are going to talk about one of the most remarkable processes that Henry Ford implemented for building cars. Then, we will tell you about the first affordable car for the middle class. Next, we will see how Henry Ford influenced and changed some labor rules that we still use today. Also, we are going to pose some pros and cons about Henry Ford, and you can try to decide if he was a genius or a villain. Finally, we will see how modern-day car manufacturers are trying to lower the cost of the next generation of cars. Manufacturers are trying to lower the cost of the next generation of cars, electric cars. Okay, next, Dolores will continue with part 1 about the assembly line. Thank you, Barbara. In 1913, Henry Ford installs the first moving assembly line for the mass production of an entire automobile. In order to lower the prices of his cars, Ford figured he would just have to find a way to build them more efficiently. An assembly line is a manufacturing process where the motion of workers is minimized to the largest extent possible. Each worker typically performs one simple operation. The parts are added in sequence until the final assembly is produced. His innovation reduced the time it took to build a car from more than 12 hours to 2 hours and 30 minutes. This invention had immense influence on the world. Soon, other companies started copying the system. It was the beginning of mass production worldwide, and of the world as we know it today. Overproduction and destruction of the planet. This new system also produced alienated workers who interacted with the industrial machinery in a boring and monotonous fashion, feeling powerless and disconnected from the final product. Next, Celine will continue with part 2 about Ford's Model T. Thank you, Dolores. I'm Celine. The first Model T was the first... Hi, everybody. I'm Celine. The Ford Model T was the first automobile that was mass-produced on moving assembly lines with completely interchangeable parts. It was produced from October 1st, 1908 to May 1927. The Model T was the 9th of Henry Ford's production cars. The name Lizzie was one of its popular nicknames. The Model T changed the world forever. It changed the way Americans live, work, and travel. People could travel for pleasure for the first time. Henry Ford called it the universal car, a low-cost, reliable vehicle that could be maintained easily. It was the first car to be affordable for the common man. For the first time, car ownership became a reality for average American workers, not just the wealthy. Ford sold over 10,000 Model T cars in the first year of production, a new record for any automobile model. More than 15 million Model Ts were built at that time. It was made in 9 different body styles, including a 5-seat touring car, a 2-seat runabout, and a 7-seat town car. In the first years of production, from 1908 to 1913, the Model T was not available in black, but rather gray, green, red, and blue. Let's add that word rather. But rather, gray, green, blue, and red. From 1913 to 1925, the car was mass-produced in only on. That's strange. In only on. Okay, I think we don't need in. Let's begin again from here. From 1913 to 1925, the car was mass-produced only on moving assembly lines in one color, black. Assembly line production allowed the price to be lowered from $850 in 1908 to less than $300 in 1925. Next, Svetlana will continue with Part 3 about changes in working labor. Working labor is strange. Working and labor are the same. Let's call it working conditions, I guess. Working labor is odd. So, Celine will say, and next, Svetlana will continue with Part 3 about changes in working conditions. And if you wanted to, I don't know, and labor policy, but working labor is odd. I'm not sure what you want to say here. You guys have to discuss it. You could say changes in working conditions and labor policy. Great. You could say changes in working conditions. You could say changes in labor policy, but not working labor. That's odd. All right, continuing with part number 3. Hello, everyone. I'm Svetlana. And thank you, Celine. According to Ford, the smartest fiscal policy, physical is the body, and fiscal is about money. According to Ford, the smartest fiscal policy is largely deliberate and planned production. The money supply should be nearly uniform. In order to work successfully, you need to be able to work regularly. Periodic stagnation causes large losses, the result of higher prices as a consequence of, I don't think the result. I think you want to say that result in higher prices. It's not the result of higher prices. That means higher prices causes it. What you want to say is that periodic stagnation produces higher prices, I think. So let's start again. According to Ford, the smartest fiscal policy is largely deliberate and planned production. The money supply should be nearly uniform. In order to work successfully, you need to be able to work regularly. Periodic stagnation causes large losses that result in higher prices as a consequence of interrupted production. Ford's financial policy was the result of a trade policy. Better to sell at a lower price than to... Better to sell more at a lower price than to sell less at a higher price. Than to sell less at a higher price. That's more natural in English. Again, Ford's financial policy was the result of a trade policy. Better to sell more at a lower price than to sell less at a higher price. This technique results in more sales. He decided even his employees should be able to buy his cars. To do this, the employee needs to have money, free time for spending money, and should not be exhausted after work. He built a system of production and paid great attention to the protection of labor and the creation of normal working conditions. He used Robert Owen's motto, 8 hours of work, 8 hours of recovery, 8 hours of rest. The main principles of modernization of production is odd. The main principles of the modernization. All right, I guess you need a the, and we can do it. The main principles of the modernization of production include: implement an 8-hour working day instead of 16 hours. Establish 5 working days, 2 days off. 3. Pay the salaries of every worker $5 a day. Before, it was $2 a day. I don't know what this means. 2, 2, 5. This is just not clear. I believe you want to say, pay the salaries of workers $5 a day. Before it was $2.50 a day, maybe? Is that what you wanted to say? $2.50? If it is, it would be written $2.50 would be one way. Also, quite simply, $2.50. Or if you wanted to make a range, it would be from $2 to $2.50 a day. I'm really not sure what you wanted to say, so pay the salaries of workers $5 a day. And then you could say before this, I don't know what it is, but before it was $2.50 a day, or before it was $2.50 a day, or before it was from $2 to $2.50 a day. I'm not sure. Please choose an option. Next, 4. Ensure the best condition of all cars for the workflow. 5. Insist on their absolute purity. Purity is strange. Purity of what? And there is what? The car or the people? This is odd. Please revise this. Teach people to respect others and themselves. If quality work is not rewarded, then the employee is paralyzed. 8. Everyone aspires to success. Each employee is useful to give the opportunity to achieve success. The success must be accompanied by recognition and encouragement, moral and material. Eventually, this will lead to the fact that productivity did increase and workers were able to do the same amount of work for 8 hours. Ford Motor increased its capacity from 40 to 60%, and profits doubled within 2 years. This concludes part 1 of the video. I will speak to Sabrina, and we're going to do the pros and cons in the following video, and they need to be blended together. Right now they're separate and they should be together.